And head into the match right now and see what's going to happen. Well, I am excited to be casting again. This is going to be awesome. Obviously, these teams have been going through a lengthy qualifier and have earned their spot in the top 12. And so here they are going to come pretty equally seated, and this should be a very exciting match. Very equal teams coming against each other. I hope this goes into a third match here in this best-of-3 series. Of course, this is a double elimination bracket, so whoever gets knocked out in Game 1 will drop down into the losers bracket and will still have a chance to survive. We're waiting for those dropships to come on in.
Coming in. Capture and hold the resource points. Stop any hostiles that get in your way.
Here they come. Let's take a look at the mechs in use. We got Team 1, 2 Arctic Cheetahs, Kodiak 3, Night Gear, Assassin, Kodiak 3, Summoner, and a Hunchback 2CA. Bring up all the fun names here. Did they call a hold? It looks like they've called a hold. They might have had a disconnect. You can see the chat on the side where they've called a hold. So within 1 minute, no mechs have died. No capture points have been taken, thankfully. So they're able to call a hold and will hopefully be able to get that mech back in quickly before the 5-minute delay on the stream gives up any information. So on the 228th IBR side, this is, of course, 228th Wild Ones. We've got a Hunchback 2CA, Wolfhound, Summoner, Warhawk, Hunchback 2CA, Arctic Cheetah, Marauder 2C, and a Summoner as well. I'm going to try some of these new buttons I've got here. I should be able to, by pointing at a mech, I'm super excited about this, pointing at a mech, I can select it and jump in the cockpit. Yes, I love this. This is awesome.
Airstrike.
So I'm going to try my best to do a little bit more in and out of cockpit if something's going down. But of course, you know me, I like to give the I like giving the kind of the battlefield look here. So, but the quicker I can get into cockpits, the better. And the quicker I can get back out again is awesome. So both teams holding right now. Initial disconnect right off the bat. It happens especially when you've got teams kind of across the ocean. And hopefully they can get back in relatively quick. Let's take a look at some of these builds. So this Summoner M, dual ER PPCs, I think those are, yep, they got the PPCs really high mounted right there. Looks like they are ready to go, so both teams are on the move. We're on the 228th side right now. A little confusion as to whether we're going. JZ, team leader for 228th Wild Ones, jumping up with that Summoner. Looks like he's going to try and get a look over that Theta region. Caps are going out on both sides. Kappa taken for RJF, and both Sigma and Epsilon for 228th IBR. So they have a little bit of a cap advantage right off the bat, and they've got some of their mechs up on Theta. They haven't captured it yet, but they've made a presence. RJF is setting up some mechs, including that Summoner, up on the Cakes region and just trading across.
Target spotted.
So some trades back and forth right now. 92% on the Summoner for RJF, and really no damage incoming on 228 thus far. 3 cap advantage for 228. They have managed to snag Theta. 2 cap only for RJF. So if 228 decides to hold, ooh, that strike landing right between that Marauder 2C and that Arctic Cheetah, but they just dodged it. That 1 second later, that could have hit several mechs on that push. Good strike attempt. There we go. Got a little bit across Halamede in that Marauder 2C, taking a pretty nasty hit from that airstrike. Big push from 228 coming up this right side, just taking new territory and kind of forcing it in. Kappa is about to be taken relatively quickly here. We've got an Arctic Cheetah coming in the backfield with machine guns, harassing a lone Summoner who's getting a little bit caught out. This Arctic Cheetah is getting a lot of really good damage in on that Summoner, and he doesn't really have a lot of help coming in. Looks like the Wolfhound is coming to respond to try and flush that cheat out, and they're starting to turn back at him, and he smartly gets away after doing several percentages, 24% of damage to that summoner. So pretty good push there, and 228 is actually starting to take a little bit of damage from this push. Theta falling now towards RJF after this shift, but 3 caps still in favor of 228 with the shift to Kappa Sigma, but Epsilon is hanging wide open if they wanted to send a light. They could be waiting for Epsilon to start getting capped, and maybe 228 they'll use that as a mech advantage on the push, but they seem to be content just trading right now. Let's see if we can take a look at JZ yet again, see if we can see some of these trades coming in here. Playing their corners very tight.
Airstrike activated. New target acquired.
Nice shot and twist away there. So JZ putting his shots downfield. Very good trading mech, very good trading pilot right there. In terms of percentage, we are seeing RJF Volkadav in the Kodiak 3 down to 46% now. So RJF's starting to take quite a bit of damage. He's this front line mech. We're going to hop in his cockpit, see what's going on here. He's got 2 Ultra AC5s remaining, and his PPC has been ripped off. He's open center torso, and if he stays in the front and does not rotate out, he could potentially get taken out pretty quick here. He's got to start protecting that mech. Even a crippled mech, if alive, can still deal some damage, so rotate that mech out, allow some of the other team to start soaking up some of the damage, and maybe they can start winning on some of these trades. But RJF's still kind of up there, working himself back behind the Night Gear, allowing the Night Gear to take a little bit of this damage. But everybody still alive so far. You may see a snowball effect here. As mechs start to fall, they might start falling a lot quicker, and usually you'll see some aggression come from that. We've got an assassin sneaking up in the backfield here, but he got made by the Wolfhound. The Wolfhound is only at 75%. Kondo is starting to respond to him too, and this assassin is going to have to work his way out, taking a lot of damage from the Marauder 2C, but these lights are coming in and harassing on the backfield. The Wolfhound, though, doing a really good job interrupting that backstab attempt and getting him out of there. Halamede taking quite a bit of damage, however, dropping some good strikes, just trying to flush those lights out, but he's down to 33% and being wide open with those machine guns, the crit-seeking machine guns. It won't take much. And we have the first kill, Kondo in the Summoner, dropping, I think that was Nick, and then RJF Volkadav dropping as well. So those 2 frontline trading mechs getting dropped quick, but Halamede does go down. The lights are coming into the backfield, trying to work that Warhawk, and they are putting those machine guns into his backfield, 41%. He is getting shredded down. The Wolfhound doing whatever he can to interrupt the assassin. Kondo backing away on the left side down to 41%, and we've got 3 dead on 228, 4 dead on RJF, and this is starting to snowball incredibly quickly. Only 3 mechs remain, 2 mechs remaining, an Arctic Cheetah and a Summoner for RJF, 4 mechs for 228. They'll have to try and take mechs out however they can here. Those machine guns can definitely stab people out relatively quick. But I think he's only got 1 arm's worth, and he's got himself stuck on the rafter there, and those PPCs are starting to find. He got around. He's being chased by 3 targets. The other Summoner is coming in on the backfield, just trying to do whatever he can. 39%. Let's see if I can target him. He gets a kill. He's running so hot right now, though. Dropping override. He's got an overheat on the other side. He might be able to take him out. He's burning himself up, though, and he pops. And it sounds to me like 228 comes out ahead with only a couple mechs remaining. But what an intense battle there. 228 winning drop 1 on Mining Collective. Let's take a look at the scoreboard here. 3 mechs remaining. Arctic Cheetah and the 2 Summoners, JZ included. JZ pulling 632 damage on that set. Really great trades coming out of him. On the other side, 511 coming out of the Arctic Cheetah. The light mechs for RGF definitely doing quite a bit of work, just trying to get in on the backfield. Those machine guns ripping things apart. But Den Airwalker pulling 566 in his trading Summoner as well. But overall, damage just seems to be in favor of 228 Wild Ones. And a very strong start here, right out of the gates for 228. But of course, this is a best out of 3 series, so we will have to see whether or not RJF can pull it ahead and bring it into a third game. All right. So, right to the map strat as these guys get their mechs ready and get ready for a map banning. Try to get in there and show the map ban as it occurs. But we had 228 Wild Ones over here starting on the Team 2 side. And on the Team 1 side, RJF/Black Spikes. They set up some trading mechs up here on Cakes. They had their summoner up there and mostly had a lot of their guys down low. 228 came up, worked Theta with some trading mechs there, some trading mechs over here, and I believe they sent their light mechs immediately to Kappa. This kind of enticed a rotation from 228 Wild One, staying relatively aggressive at least, moving around the outside, forcing RJF to come in and take Theta, but still a 3-cap in favor of 228 Wild Ones. So ultimately, RJF was going to be forced to get involved, basically, with a 3-cap and a ticket advantage for 228. Eventually, they sent their light mechs. They were doing some work here with that back flank coming up the backside here. They sent their lights up, but really good response by that Wolfhound coming back and just really stopping those lights from getting any sort of backstabs. If that Wolfhound wasn't there, I think that Marauder 2C would have gotten shot in the back and potentially taken out relatively quick. But a very good heads-up play by that Wolfhound to make sure that that backside was secure. He didn't trade real well against the lights, but making a presence and really just causing just a little scratch back and forth. Significantly different outcome than if he wasn't there, and if those two lights were able to come in with those machine guns behind a target and just start putting those shots directly into the backside of an open mech, those crits would have stacked up quick, and they might have been able to take that Marauder 2C out very quickly. But very good job by that light, just securing that flank. So they're set up here with the secured flank. They got the Marauder 2C. They've got trade mech, you know, working around that side. Ultimately, let's see. They're doing the map banning phase here. We'll see what map we're going to be on. Mining Collective yet again. So they're going to try it again, and we'll see how that goes. Looks like they've switched spots, I believe. So 228 is in Team 1 this side. So they're going to try the other side of the map. I believe it's an automatic team switch, though, so that's not to be unexpected. But, excuse me. So 228 really holding down, locking down this area here, winning on the trades. The Kodiak and the Night Gear kind of backing up there. Both of them getting hit pretty hard by those PPCs incoming. Ultimately, those two dropped almost at the same time as each other, and that started that snowball effect. When that occurred, they got the lights to actually push up and start doing some work in the backfield. Was able to really bring this match close, but dropping the assault and the heavy really early on for 228 allowed them to start being aggressive, start landing more of their shots, and just the mech advantage able to keep them on top right up until that 8-5 victory. So extremely exciting outcome there, but we're going to be going into drop 2 shortly here. And I'm going to try and not cough into the mic. Bear with me, it's been a while since I've done this. Got to get the voice back into the swing of things. So, for drop 1 as the first game of these semifinals, that was certainly an exciting one. As predicted, these teams very closely seeded. The Oceanic team versus the European/Russian team. So they are of course playing on the North American server just to keep it fair. Pretty good crowd out there right now. I am very excited to see how many people are viewing us. We're up to, looks like 193 viewers here. 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning. What a great showing. Glad you guys could be here. Of course, there will be quite a few matches in the semifinals, bracketed semifinals. Let me see if I can bring, I believe this is the current bracket. Let me plop this image in, at least for the opener bracket here. I'll throw this up on the screen. There we go. I believe that this is the current bracket. Put that over here. Over MD. So we are in game 1 right now. And so then we got game 2, 228th Blackwatch versus SJR. Game 3, Dropship 5 versus Phoenix Legion. And game 4, White Death Mercenary Company versus Osiris. Once those get completed, then they will move up to fight the 1st through 4th seed teams. Eon Synergy, JGX, TCAF, ticking off commonality, and Imperial. And then the losers, of course, will shift down into the losers bracket, and that's where the eliminations start. Teams will be then removed from the semifinals when they lose in the losers bracket, and the winners of the losers bracket matches will be able to play the losers of future matches until they can attempt to climb their way right back into the winning side of things. So, and of course, top 3 goes to Vancouver, but it looks like these guys are readied up, and we're going to be heading in to drop 2 on Mining Collective. Teams have swapped, so we're going to have 228 Wild Ones on that west side, the cake side, and RJF running that east side. We'll have to see how they respond to each other. They've seen each other. They've had a good look. It was a very close match. Very slight changes to anything here could definitely cause a different outcome. All right. Let's go take a look at a dropship here. Hopefully no disconnects this time. Hitting all the buttons.
Command coming in. Capture
Here we
and
go.
hold the resource points. Stop any hostiles that get in your way.
All right, we are on the RJF side. We've got Hunchback 2CA, Archita, the Assassin, Summoner, Kodiak 3, Summoner C. And what else we got here? Those are the Summoners. We got the Assassin here.
They've taken Epsilon.
Looks like we got an early push to Theta for
Theta is
RJF.
controlled by the enemy.
Possibly
Command,
going for
confirming
3 cap
we
here.
have
Their
possession
cheetahs
of
up
capital.
front. Kodiak marching off on that right side.
Target spotted.
Strike online.
Assassin really working that left side, breaking over. But looks like we've got kind of a counter push here by 228th working up underneath Theta. We've got their own summoner jumping up, taking peeks over Theta. Eventually they will have to kind of push their way in, but the trades have started going back and forth. Looks like we've got a Supernova as well. Let's see what kind of build he's got in that Supernova. ER mediums and ER larges.
Enemy forces have Sigma. Target
New
spotted.
target acquired.
So he's kind of working a little bit close. Oh, just missing an opportunity at a light mech who just peeked himself over, said nope, and ducked himself back down. Could have been a pretty good burn there, but some initial shots coming in from that PPC summoner.
New target.
And we're going to have a
acquired.
first opportunity at that Hunchback.
Online.
Getting a little bit of burn, but that is a hot build. So taking a look at the overall battle here. We got ourselves a light push. 228th pushing in on this left side, really stabbing through, but they're kind of getting themselves surrounded here. You got mechs on both sides. That lead Kodiak working himself in, but gets taken out. Lermgod in that Kodiak getting taken out by the Arctic Cheetah, but we got a big push marching right through the middle. The Halamede in the Direwolf starting to back himself up. Buria just in that Arctic Cheetah just going nuts with these machine guns right all over Kondo. Another Palmashek and the other Arctic Cheetah coming in beside him. What a pincer. And now the Assassin coming in behind Halamede in the Direwolf, and this is not looking good for 228th. This aggressive push actually costing them quite a few mechs on the initial. Just a really good pincer here by RJF. 4 dead now for 228. Only 1 dead for RJF. Hate Priest in that Hunchback. 2C getting run up on by the Summoner and the Arctic Cheetah. He gets taken out too, and only 2 mechs remaining for 228. That push was extremely costly, and it was a great job by RJF just basically scooping it up and responding. Lone mech remaining is the Wolfhound. He is not long for this world, and it looks like they're only going to pick up 1 kill on that Supernova. And there he goes. Mech goes down, an 8-1 victory in favor of RJF Black Spikes. What an interesting turn of events. Basically, they just set themselves on both sides of this gap and received a 228th push right into the middle of them. And that was over incredibly quick. Very low damage coming out of 228. They never really had an opportunity to really do anything. Basically getting shot in the back, and then we saw some excellent light play there. The Arctic Cheetahs setting themselves up on both sides of the basically receiving the push. And right now the crits on those machine guns doing quite a bit of work, getting in on that light rear armor and just critting out components very quickly, not giving 228th an opportunity to really set up any sort of aggression, and in fact forcing their mechs to retreat back where they came from. And RJF did not allow them to get away with it. They just responded after taking out that initial Kodiak and just swarmed them with those light mechs. Well played, RJF. Very well done, and they definitely took 228 to task there. So that brings it to a drop 3, with it being a 1-1 on the series. And we'll have to see what map gets selected here for the 3rd drop. I believe it's going to go back to RJF being Team 1 again, 228th Wild Ones being Team 2. So that could play into the decisions when it comes to map ending. We might end up right back on Mining Collective again if they want to take another stab at it. Especially if 228th feels comfortable being in the same team they were on when they won that first drop. They might want to go back to Mining Collective. RJF, though, remembering that first drop, they might either want to just refine their strategy to try and fix some of those trades, or they might end up picking a different map altogether. And so once that map banning occurs, we will hop over to that side to see what gets selected. But if we can bring up the map strat again, effectively 228th working their way up for a big push through essentially these 3 corridors here. But the big thing, I guess, unbeknownst to them, they had a reception team there. They had the Supernova sitting right here. Basically had themselves a really nice concave like this. And so as that Kodiak comes marching through, you had firing lines basically into his backside. And then you had those, the light mech, one of them came up and tucked right into this corner, the other one tucked into this corner, and essentially are able to shoot into, my map strat didn't come up. Or it's, okay, we'll do this. Alright, so yeah, the light mechs came up here, here, and here, and were able to shoot into the backside of anybody that came through. The Supernova ended up dying somewhere down here, or maybe he moved up a little bit, got killed out. But the damage is essentially done. They quashed that push right off the bat. 228th then started to pull back their Direwolf, try to pull back into their cover where they can maybe set up a front, but by then they lost a lot of tonnage. And like I said, the quick response by RJF to basically sweep in and finish the job, swarm them, not give them any opportunity to set up a front, and just take that to an 8-1 victory. Very clean victory. So we should be heading into the map ban here, unless I missed it. I hope I didn't miss it. We'll see. But teams getting readied up in the lobby regardless. And we will be heading into drop 3 on this. Oh, here we go. Map voting coming on. Drop 3 on this best of 3 series. Canyon Network banned, HPG Manifold banned, Tourmaline Desert, and Polar right back to Mining Collective. So 228 gonna try and essentially mimic what they did in drop 1. I mean, they might come out with a completely different strat. They might just try to refine what they've already done. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. How is RJF going to play this one differently? Are they going to just try to trade better? Are they going to maybe work their lights in a different area? Anything can happen in this drop 3. We might see 228 do something extremely aggressive right through Theta. They could try to push up towards Kappa again like they did last time. Maybe RJF will have another essentially ambush set up for them on that side to receive that push through. Who knows? Obviously, it worked really well for them setting up the pincer, basically. And the problem with the pincer setup, though, is if they come in the other side, now you've got mechs across the field that aren't able to help. So scouting in this is going to be huge. Getting those light mechs up, really seeing where the enemy is, and then responding to, making your push happen, essentially, in response to where you know they are. And pushing right up the gut into a pincer, never a good idea. But the only thing I could think of is 228 had no clue that they had a really good firing line set up on both sides. Maybe there was a missed call on the push. They didn't get the Direwolf up quick enough to the front lines. The Kodiak might have gone out a little bit too quick. It's hard to say what exactly happened there to cause that collapse. But that Kodiak had no chance on that push, marching up that left side to C5 and getting shot in the back, essentially, by the rest of that RJF team. So both teams getting readied up in lobby, and we'll be heading into Game 3. I don't think there's any other matches scheduled for this morning, so after this one is done, we will rock that out. Let's see here. Let me see whether or not they've been doing... Tina, if you could let me know in chat, have you guys been doing any giveaways? Do you want me to do any sort of roulette or anything like that, or have you been doing stuff in chat? Do you want me to give something away? Not at the moment, but I could give you names. Alright, both. Looks like we are going in. Yeah, just let me know, and I'll do it after the match is completed, just as a thank you for everybody. A great crowd coming out here today. What are we up to? 241 viewers. I love it. That's fantastic. Glad to see all you guys coming out. Excited for some competitive MechWarrior Online for the semifinals. Obviously, the festivities just getting started. Next couple weeks are going to be very busy. You'll see a lot more of me, and we'll get MD in here as well. We'll be casting as teams start getting eliminated as we march ever closer to MechCon 2017 in Vancouver in December, where we'll be seeing the top 3 teams from this bracket duking it out. It will be exciting for sure. I can't wait to get up on stage and cast that tournament yet again. So here we go. Teams coming in. See if we see any surprises here. The Wild Ones on this east side yet again. We've got Wolfhound, Summoner, Hunchback 2CA, Hunchback 2CA, Supernova, Warhawk, Summoner, and Arctic Cheetah. So pretty much the same thing they had before, except I believe the Supernova is a new addition. Some early trading coming down this firing lane, just barely landing some scratch. Pumashek at 98%. But it looks like RJF setting themselves up on cakes yet again. And we got the PPCs flying back and forth. Early caps. 3 cap by 228. They've got their Wolfhound on Theta, so we're going to have a cap advantage in favor of Wild Ones. But the trades are starting. Some PPCs flying from multiple angles here, landing on Den Airwalker in that Summoner, and they're trying to force these guys off cakes. If they can... Ooh, good airstrike coming across Nick Dreezery. And Wild One's just really putting out a lot of this early scratch, a lot of this early damage. We'll see if they can keep it rolling. But Wild One's, of course, taking some damage themselves. Hunchback 2CA Stone Falcon dropped down to 72%. Let's see if we can find him. What is going on with Stone Falcon? Is he just being too aggressive?
Target spotted.
Got some shots into his backside. That looks like that might have been an airstrike coming in, and then, of course, taking some general damage. The arms on that Hunchback 2CA, not really useful, mostly used as shields. So the percentages can be a little bit deceiving on that, but it all adds up. He needs those shield arms and stuff for the long haul, essentially. But trades going back and forth, and it looks like Epsilon got captured in the backfield here. The assassin came down, and so 3 cap swings right back into RJF this time. They're not letting those caps get away from them, and some really good burns into the Wolfhound here from the Hunchback, dropping him down to 86%. Not really any response yet from Wild Ones about that back cap. And we actually got kind of a sneak movement here. The assassin coming in on the backfield. He got made by that Arctic Cheetah, and he's going to have to pull himself out of there really quick so he doesn't get caught unawares. So he's going to pull himself out, maybe protect Epsilon for a little while, but Rhodes and that Arctic Cheetah, at the very least, flushing him out so he can't get in on the backfield. That assassin, though, you know, pulling those lights off, they're going to try and work their way towards Epsilon, or at least stay on this left side. That mech is doing a really good job distracting those lights so they can't really work any other angles. And so the tickets now swung in favor of RJF. Great airstrike over Hate Priest there. He's at 59%. Let's see if we can figure out how he's doing now. Left shoulder open. Still has all of his weapons at the moment, but you could start having some crits land on him, and that will be pretty devastating. So Wild One's not doing too good on the trades this time. Not anywhere near as well as they were doing in Drop 1. RJF seems to have found their footing and is starting to land these shots. The Warhawk, JZ and the Summoner, the Supernova still doing really well, but the other 4 members of their team, the Wolfhound, Hunchback, Summoner, and the other Hunchback, not trading nearly as well. They need to start picking up and allow these other mechs to start landing some of these trades. RJF seems to be getting a little bit more bold in their peaks here. JZ's a little bit pincered, but he's getting a jump on a Supernova who's open on both shoulders. Was able to land some free shots in there and dodge the airstrike and get out of there. JZ definitely showing his skill when it comes to trade mechs. Kodiak, 64%, kind of moving up and getting chased out by that Warhawk, who's now pushing aggressively, but kind of pushing his way into a bit of a firing line. We have this Wild Ones push coming through this right side, but there's an Arctic Cheetah up behind him. JZ taking out that Kodiak 3. Warhawk leading the charge. They have to be careful, though, because they still have that light mech coming in behind him. He's on Hate Priest, who is already open. Those machine guns are going to do quick work, and Hate Priest is not going to be long for this world against Palmashek. This push has stalled out a little bit here. JZ now down to 53%, and that Palmashek coming in on the backside of JZ. Looks like he's trying to take out the other leg of JZ, and he nails it. Palmashek just doing an amazing job in the backfield, tearing people apart. 3 dead for Wild Ones, 2 dead for RJF. It's still anyone's battle here. They're chasing that Wolfhound out. Buria now up there with that Arctic Cheetah. They take out the Wolfhound, 4 dead. Palmashek coming back in on that Warhawk, not looking good for Wild Ones. They've got 2 very hurt mechs, and then that Arctic Cheetah, Halamade, is now being chased down by the hail of machine gun fire, backing up as best as he can, but Buria's not going to let up. He is driving those machine guns right into his center torso, and now Palmashek coming in on the backside for the kill, and he nails it. Palmashek is going insane right now, and it looks like that is it. Wild Ones get taken out in drop 3. What a great trade session by RJF. Did not let Wild Ones get really any footing there. They really punished a few key members of Wild Ones, forcing some aggression. Also working the 3 cap, so that really forced Wild Ones to have to push when they probably didn't want to. That Warhawk did some pretty fantastic damage, though. 611 coming out of him, but a really solid damage spread out of everyone in RJF. And then, of course, Pelmashek in that Arctic Cheetah coming in and scoring 4 kills. Only 228 damage, though, but those crits, they stack up quick, especially when you can put those shots on the legs and on the center torsos and not only kill weapons, but also crit out and destroy those key components to score those kills. Those light mechs coming in and doing quite a bit of work there. And that was exciting. The positioning from Pelmashek there to receive and pincer, though, was key. Just having that one mech sitting in the backfield and able to start working down mechs systematically one at a time from back to front, and then essentially causing a massive stall for that Wild Ones push. Very impressive work there by RJF. They will, of course, move up. Let's see, we'll kill the map source here. RJF is going to move up, and it looks like they're going to be playing Eon Synergy in Game 5. And, of course, 228 Wild Ones, they are not out of this. They are going to be heading down into the losers bracket, and I don't have it handy as to which loser they're looking to play against, but it's most likely going to be somebody from Game 2, 3, or 4 that they're going to have to play against to stay alive. So Wild Ones dropping down into the losers bracket. RJF with a 2-1 series victory will be moving up to play Eon Synergy. Taking a look at the map strat here real quick. Same general Wild Ones kind of setup, at least in the initial, really trying to work their trades in. They didn't do as aggressive of a push over through the Kappa side. They didn't get here like they did in Drop 1. I think RJF did a much better job trading back into them, keeping their heads down. They had the initial cap, Theta, Sigma, Epsilon for Wild Ones, but a nice clean maneuver by that assassin to come down, get Epsilon, and control Gamma, Epsilon, Kappa. That 3 cap then forcing Wild Ones to have to be aggressive, but ultimately RJF setting up a really nice cross, or just a concave here, and then having that light mech sitting in the back in C4. I think it was Halamede, or somebody came in, one of the Hunchbacks came in the backside, got jumped first, and they came through and did their push like this, and Pelmashek just coming in on the backside and doing work, and then eventually getting backed up from the front, and once again, dual Arctic Cheetah machine gun just surrounding their target and doing an amazing job just focusing on those key components, taking out the legged JZ, always a key victory there for RJF, and then really taking it to that Warhawk big weapons platform and just getting him off the field as well. So good response by RJF. RJF had a really rough drop 1, but it was pretty close. It was pretty close, but it was rough. But then coming back strong in drops 2 and 3 to take the series and move on.